Hey everyone, we're BK Game Devs. Chris, Alex, and Quan. We're developers from Brooklyn. We like game development. We're here to stream our game development process. Right now we're building out a game called Wake Up. It's a 2D platformer where the player is trapped in a nightmare, and the only way to win is the player needs to overcome their fears. So, we've done 2 streams so far. And we're going to give you a quick recap of what we did in the last stream. And then we're going to move on and add some more features.
Yeah, nice. So in the last stream, if I remember correctly, because I think we also had another meeting after, we pretty much added a sprite sheet of a boy from some free source. What is the website called? Game.
Is it Open Game Art?
Open Game Art, yeah.
Right.
Yep, Open Game Art is dope.
Wait, was it linked? If it was linked somewhere, is it here? Well, I'd like to give props again to the guy. We will at some point. Let me know, Chris or Quan.
Sure.
So we added the sprite sheets. We added the animations, or we added animations using the sprite sheets. There was the idle animation, there was the jump animation, and the run animation. So at the moment, that's the extent of what we've gone through. What else? We did something.
And today we're working on trying to take a look at the sanity bar, right?
Right. So that is in lieu of a health bar, where in classic games you have a health bar where if you get damaged, it keeps going down until you die at 0 or heal. In this case, in this game, the sanity bar is something more like, as it sounds, let's say the more it goes down, the more insane you go. And instead of events can cause it to decrease, but time as well. So the longer you spend doing nothing, or in these levels, your sanity starts to go down.
Yep. And so
we're going to put together the UI, the sanity bar, and I guess we could also hook it up to some logic. What have we talked about? What will cause the sanity bar to go down?
Partially. So time, yeah. But I think we've also talked about so maybe because it seems like a lot of this game might be platforming in certain ways, or at least maybe the darkness and the heights in some degree. Maybe if you miss a jump, fall into a pit, you lose a bit of your sanity.
Okay.
I mean, we could in the height, let's say in the heights level, we could also make it so that say if you're on a particular platform, think of it like if you're not moving, right, when you're climbing a mountain, let's say, and you're not trying to keep climbing, but instead you look down, you stop and stay still and look down. That is I assume, a traumatizing experience to a lot of people. So something like that. If you stay on any one particular platform, maybe your sanity goes down significantly in the heights level.
I get that. So maybe instead of it being just time itself, maybe what we can do is test if the player has been idle for I'm making it up 5 seconds, start decreasing their sanity. So if they've been still for too long, then it starts to get to them, and then their sanity bar starts to deplete.
I feel like whatever other than time itself, whatever events happen that would decrease the sanity, it's probably level specific. So for example, one of the things we want to look into today is the darkness level. So certain events in darkness, or I haven't fully painted it out in my head, I guess, or we haven't fully painted it out in our head, but it's something we will figure out as we go, probably.
Yep, I think that's fine. You're right. Each level will have a different way to approach the sanity, but yeah, today we'll be taking a stab at the darkness, trying to get some lights to work, and we can flesh it out from there.
Yeah.
But first, this is sanity bar.
So,
yeah, and maybe before we go forward, because now that the project is loaded, we could show what we did last week.
Sure,
right.
yeah.
You know, I keep feeling like there's something missing. So, yeah, we did do the jump animation. Oh yes, and a simple camera follow. That's also something we did. So, to keep track of where the character is, the camera's there. Let's see. Here's the animation controller and its various states. You can see player idle, player running, or run, and player jump over here.
And
So-
can you? And I remember you were talking about the any state. Can you just talk briefly about that?
Oh yeah, sure. So the any state is, it's pretty much signifies, as it sounds, any state. That is, whether it's here or here. The reason we connected the jump to any state is because the jump can happen if you are idle or if you're running. And what that means is that it would sort of create, we'd have to create multiple transitions. So like say 2 transitions are going on here, when we connect this to either or, we'd have to add 2 transitions here and 2 transitions here. What any state allows you to do is just make one transition to jump from any one of these based on a condition, which is jumping is equal to true, and then a transition to exit, which then comes back to entry and then just restarts the whole cycle. I'm thinking back on it, we could have done something like that where we just had either or transition, but this only transitions back to idle, which then could go back to running, but this is a lot cleaner. It's just one.
Cool.
Well, this is basically just another way of saying it can go to and from idle and to and from run.
Right.
It's
Exactly,
just less messy looking.
Right. And you know, in order to ensure that, you know, it doesn't go from other states that we may define like death or something like that, we just have to
Right.
make sure we don't allow the jumping variable to turn true if they're dead. And that's
That
definitely
is
something
true.
we can control from the.
Yeah, we haven't talked about death in this game. I'm guessing when your sanity bar runs out, you die.
Well,
yeah, sure.
Or succumb to your nightmare. I think, if I
Right.
remember correctly, or I think this is probably something I came up with at the start, but being in a nightmare, death, I think probably means coma. I mean, that's just the scenario I thought. It's where the player is in a coma and facing his their nightmares means waking up if they win against their fears.
Right. It doesn't necessarily, need to mean like anything, to be honest. It could just mean, the level starts over, like in the gaming sense.
Oh yeah. I guess I was just thinking in story sense. Okay, so actually haven't done it's probably a health bar, right? So I think Chris, you have done some research on it or you looked into it. Tell me, how would I go about it?
About creating the UI for health bar.
Yeah, sure. Well, I know how to create UI, so we can start off with that.
So we could start off with creating a canvas,
Sure.
because all UI elements are under a canvas.
Here we are.
Yep.
This is what it looks
And
like.
if I remember right, there is some way to make the canvas yes, screen space camera. Try that one. Did that do it? And then drag the main camera onto that. Because the weird thing about Canvas in Unity is that it makes this gigantic box outside of the playable area, which isn't necessarily a bad thing at all times. But with this, I think then all Canvas objects live in the view of the camera, which makes it much easier for us to build, and it makes it more clear for the player.
Does it follow along with the camera as the camera moves?
From what I remember, yeah, I think it's like attached to the camera.
Well,
So let's test it out.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
The UI's going with it.
It is, right? So if you were to make a new text object in the UI, just some random text, and let's see if that works. If we just put it on the canvas, hopefully it should follow the player.
Okay, there's new text.
Yep, there's new text. Yeah, so it stays wherever it is on the screen, which means if we want to put the Sandy bar in the upper right, it'll always be there.
Right.
And I haven't gone into full depth about this functionality, but I don't see why it's not more used from what I can see, because I remember a annoying thing about Unity was trying to map your UI on your game when it was like 15 times the size of your level, right?
Right.
Well, I guess for the sake of simplicity, we could actually make it a text. For now.
Or we could make it an image and drag in a health bar sprite.
Yeah, I think that works, actually. And we had some in the Discord, right?
Yeah, I sent you guys one that I thought was cool.
What, this one?
Yeah, and yeah.
Oh, actually,
the first one.
Yeah. I'm just gonna do a private window right there. Copy.
And so once the time comes as well, we can either stay with this one or we can make a custom kind of health bar type thing. Yeah, I'm fine with either one. I think that gray one could be cool for Sanity, because maybe Sanity is not represented by green, yellow, and red.
Okay, well, I was gonna get to the next part, which is
Go for it.
Like, you basically, the next thing you would do is throw in like another UI image, and it's just a blank that you wouldn't put a sprite in. It would just be it would start off as a white fill color, and you would adjust it so that it's the size of the health bar, so it looks like it's actually health.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to use a slider component to adjust the width of that fill object.
I see. Okay.
Based on the on the player's sanity. Yeah, I think that's the right way to go about it.
No
and
problem.
then if we do that, we can also control the color, because it'll just be like a rectangle of color. And in that regard, it might be fun to do something like when you're at max sanity, it's a full white bar or full black bar, and as it goes down, it like gradiates from let's say
exactly
right. So
that was the next thing I was gonna say.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say if it starts at white, then it goes to gray, then black is when like you're done.
Because I believe there is a gradient class that you could use.
I do think so as well. And if not, we can, if we don't want to do a hard gradient, we can just have it be set at certain points. Like, okay, when the player's at 66% health, it turns gray. When they're at 33%, it turns black. And when they're dead, it's just empty.
Yep. Yeah, so you want to make that multiple, go to the sprite editor, and then
slice.
Just do a manual slice.
Okay.
Like, draw it with your mouse.
Yep. Wait.
Yeah. I guess you could just drag this one and edit it. Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah, it's because the reason the slice didn't work is because there's no space in between. Mm-hmm. I usually do the automatic, because as long as there's like even like a pixel of space in between each sprite, it'll figure it out. But this is perfectly snapped, so yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You have to do it.
Wait, hold on. Let me revert and then do it again.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, there you
go. Do you think that should be it? That should be where I stop it, or should I just do a little more?
I think that should be fine.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just hit apply.
Yeah, just hold on. I think I could make it a little more exact. There we go. And then this there.
Yep.
Did I do that right? Oh, this is what I wanted to. Oh.
And then you can just take that. So we're only going to use the gray one, right?
Yeah.
Or if we want, we can buy the width and height. We can just slice all three. But that's
Okay, right there. That's what I'm doing.
whichever we want.
Might be easier just to use the one and then use a separate image to control what's inside the bar.
Got it. Cool.
You don't need a slice. You just got to hit apply.
Oh, apply?
Yep.
Okay. Apply.
And then close it, and then we should see
bar.
Yep. Cool.
Okay. So I'm just gonna add it in as delete this. Should I just be able to do this?
No. I think that undo that.
Undo that.
Undo.
Make it an image
Do a
first.
right click. Yeah, do right click on canvas.
Oh, and
I think you can add a new
UI,
image to
I
the
see.
canvas.
Then drag
Image.
it to the sprite.
Right.
Yeah, and then
right.
inside of image there should be a sprite, as he said. Yep. Perfect. And then we can adjust the size as needed.
So there's that fancy little button there. Oh, set native size. I think that would have done it for you. But
wait.
do you see that
where is
right
that?
there? It's under image type, under those checkboxes. Yeah. So.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just gonna anchor it.
Yeah,
to the top
top
left.
Right.
Okay.
Top left.
Top
yeah,
right?
Sorry.
Do you guys want to top right?
No. Sorry, I meant top left.
Top left.
Let's see. 0, 0. Okay. And then let's just put the pivot at 0 and 0. 0, 0. Okay. Pivot 1 and then 0. There we go. And then give it some I guess margin.
Yeah, some like breathing room, I guess.
Okay, this has to be a negative value. 10. Let's
Mm-hmm.
make this 10.
All
Perfect.
right. That's good.
Looks good.
And I'm just gonna rename this to health bar. Or sanity bar.
Sanity bar, sure.
Sanity bar. Okay.
Okay, so because we're gonna be adding stuff to the bar, maybe you should like create a group of elements and then call it sanity bar. Like call this something else, like
Empty
border,
sanity bar or like empty bar or something.
or just like border or something. You don't need to duplicate it. It's just
Sure.
an empty object that, yeah.
I understand. Oh, by the way, has anyone can Chris or Quan go into the Twitch log into to the Twitch itself and then see if that goals overlay is there? Do you
Sure,
guys know
yeah.
what I'm talking about? Okay.
Oh, it is.
I'm
It
on
is
the
there.
Twitch.
Okay, so if Chris, if you want, you can add the what we're trying to do.
Well, I don't know how to use it though.
I think it's just add. Can you add?
It says add to my channel.
Oh,
are you logged in with?
I'm logged in as BK Game Devs.
Okay, I'm logged in as my personal one because I want to see both, and I can also put add to my channel. I don't know why.
but
Yeah,
can
it
you add
doesn't
it?
let you do anything else.
It doesn't let you do anything else.
I mean, there's also build an extension. It says that it's you could
and report extension, but
we'll just have to play around with that later. Okay, so I'm gonna rename this to bar.
hold on. Which one is which?
Sanity bar is the empty thing. That,
Okay, good. There you
go. Okay, but it's okay. That's what made it weird.
Yeah. So now you just need to make it the exact, with position of the bar itself. Where'd it go?
Oh, sorry. Actually, that's not right. I want to copy. Hold on. Why is this so complicated? Okay, here. This is what I'm gonna do. Do that. Do 0. Do 0. Do 0. And what was it? 1. 0, 0. Here's 126 and 30. And then here in the bar, we're just gonna do 5 and 5.
Is that the exact? like position X and Y values? Doesn't look like it. This looks like it's a little off. You could just manually do it. You don't have to do it in the inspector.
Right. I'm just used to inspector. This is what it is.
All right.
Is it 10 and -10? Hold on, guys.
Yeah, no problem. So, yeah, just figuring it out. Okay. Yeah, I think it's no problem.
So, okay, we're good.
Okay, cool.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
So now, what will be the next? We have to overlay a.
So now we can add another UI image.
In the canvas or inside the sandy bar object?
Oh, that's right. What he just did.
Okay.
I guess we can call that fill.
Use the same.
Can you see what happens if you put it above the bar, like before it?
What do you? Oh, okay.
I'm just curious if it. Okay, never mind.
Oh, it renders in the order that it.
Yeah. Okay.
It is. So this would have to be after, right?
It should be there. All right. So I guess we can.
We may have to decrease its size a little bit.
We should.
By how much? Let me look at the. I mean, let me just do. I don't know, 120. See what that looks like. And
wait, Alex. I think if you go to, where, remember, I don't know what that's called, the positioning tool where it says center.
Yeah.
If you hold Alt, and then go to the bottom right, there's a stretch. There's a stretch.
Bottom right.
So it might. I'm pretty bottom right, very bottom right. No, not that one.
This one.
Yeah. Okay. So it did that automatically. So now you could adjust it. All right.
Adjust it like this.
Believe so.
Got it. Let's see.
And I think now if we change the size of the sanity bar container, it will change with it.
Okay, got it. That makes sense.
Right,
yeah, try it.
Okay, something is wrong.
No, the image doesn't change with it because we haven't stretched the image. So should we stretch the image too?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, now it should change.
Nice.
Perfect.
Not as much.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, it's because they're not perfectly the same size, but
it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine for our purposes.
It's not that much of a visual difference.
Yeah, and all we're going to be doing is making this bar get smaller and smaller. Also, is anyone against making the health bar like thinner? Only because I think that thin health bars look more sleek.
No, I'm not against that. Like this?
Sure, yeah. Just because
maybe too long. I mean, I don't know. That might be a little too long.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Maybe about try like 150 wide.
150.
Yeah, and then
20 height.
Sure. Yep, that's fine. That's totally fine.
We just have to adjust this guy a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Another idea that I'm okay with testing out, if we choose to, is instead of having a border, just have it be the actual like bar. And you'll know it's also gone when it's literally gone. Like it just won't be on the HUD, and then you'll know you're dead. I'm trying to think of a game that does something like that. Just the bar of like green, and you just know you're dying. But anyway, that's a separate thought.
Oh, without this like image border here.
Yeah, like it's just a bar for health.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with this. It makes more sense visually.
So here, what do we have? 3.5. 3.
Can you resize the fill like just to make sure that like just go left and right. I just want to make sure it doesn't Okay, good. Never mind. There we go. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust it based off of, I don't know, what affects the sanity using a slider.
3 is 2.6. We don't use that. And 3.875. 4. Okay, so pretty much we'd be increasing this value? Increasing right? See?
No, we're not gonna be touching. We're not gonna be touching that.
Got it.
There's a UI component called slider that you could add to the sanity bar.
Okay, so here.
Yeah, and so then it'll be out of 100, right? And then we can
look for slider, yeah. And there should be
target graphic.
Make it no, wait. Make it non-interactable because we don't want anyone to be able to touch it.
Got it.
There shouldn't be a transition.
No transition? So 0?
At the top.
No.
No.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And navigation should also be none.
None.
Okay.
And then fill rect, I assume.
Yeah, then you just drag the fill rect into there. And now, wait, where'd it go?
Oh,
there, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, right.
So we're basically, and when we write a script, we're gonna just affect these slider values. That's it. Yeah.
Got it.
And then that's actually amazing because now we can get those really fine-tuned things as we need, and we can probably even add an animation then. So instead of it just like snapping to an amount when they get hit, we'll just find maybe since it's a slider, we can do some math to say, okay, the target value is 66, decrease by 1 per frame, and it'll look like it's like decreasing. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So are we sticking with white, or should we go for a specific color?
I'm fine with white, or I'm fine with like a dark color, like maybe like a dark red, dark blue, something that looks kind of like it has to do with your sanity. That looks kind of like almost like ominous because it's supposed to be like a scary game, right? So something that
I feel like we could touch this, once we mess around with the lights and get the scene darkened to see what works, what looks the best. But I think that looks good right there, Alex.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Wouldn't it be interesting to also change the color as it decreases?
But yeah, we'll change that later.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So what is this? The fill, and it's done through sanity bar. I guess should we add a model behavior for this guy?
For the bar.
Yeah.
So should we make a model behavior for like a script for the actual health bar itself, or should we make a level manager that will manage this kind of stuff?
We should do both. Like the slider should just have something like a set health like method where it just sets the health to the value of the slider.
Okay.
So that link is there. And then I guess in the level manager or player manager, that's where we determine, I guess, how you could take damage. You know what I mean?
Right.
Got it. Okay.
So we could start with just like a sanity bar script.
Yeah.
And attach it to the sanity bar.
Sure. Okay. So here we're gonna get the, what do you call it?
The sanity bar.
So we have the sanity bar, the slider. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Slider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get component.
Oh, my IntelliSense. Where are you, IntelliSense?
Oh.
VS Code.
Not good.
VS Code.
Normally it has IntelliSense. That's weird.
Yeah, the IntelliSense is life when you're a coder, because if you think that I remember the name of all these methods, you're wrong.
Well, I'm just gonna have to wing it.
Yeah, word. Just wing it for right now.
Oh, right. And then should this be sort of self-contained in the sense that, like, in the as in, should this do its own updating of the slider?
So that's why I'm not, now that I think about it, that's why I'm not sure if we need this file, only because in my head the level manager should take care of health, and like, let's say there's items and stuff, like the level manager should keep track of that. So the sanity bar doesn't actually need to take care of anything. It just needs to be there, and the level manager in my head should then be like, let me get the slider and adjust it when I detect like the player is hurt, because the level manager should have, at least in my head, a reference to like the player, health, items. Is the player dead? Are they like respawning?
So what if we just make the sanity bar just something where the game manager can reference it, like, say, what do you call it, start it up, and then at that point the slider would do its thing, and the game manager simply just like registers some callbacks to see, hey, are you at 0?
Well, I think we still need to have like some type of method that's just setting the value of the slider up to the health that's passed in. So like in the level manager or whatever, if we write some code that says, decrease sanity, by 1 every minute or something like that, it's going to need to call a method to set the slider value.
Yeah, so in my head, the level manager has a reference to the slider, which means that method you're talking about in my head would be in the level manager. Like, it would be like the level manager would have a method called like adjust health, and you send it some value, and then it will do a get component on its slider and just say, okay, make it 40.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having to call a separate file. The only reason I'm thinking about it in this way is just because, one, that's how I did it in an old game, but now I don't know if that's the right way. And two, it just, in my head, it reduces the complexity, because one, the level manager can control it all. But I'm fine with both ways. I'm fine with the sanity bar containing its own logic, and the level manager just saying, hey, slider, like, take away health, and the slider is the one that takes care of the work. I think both are fine.
All right.
How is it done in the video that you saw?
In the video that I saw, it's done this way.
Okay, then let's do it this way. Again, that's totally fine with me. And to be honest, I trust Brackeys more than I trust myself.
Yeah, Brackeys is the OG for game programming.
Yeah, it's been doing that for years. So sure, all right. So then let's do it like this. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, this thing ever loads.
If it ever loads.
Yeah, and feel free to open up the video and look through it, because a lot of this is just from my memory.
No,
sure,
it
seems to be working so far.
I'll go on mute real quick, and you guys keep talking. I'll pull up the video and just like scroll through it and see what I find.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he adds like an extra like image to the sanity bar, like he puts a heart in there. So we don't need that. So you could skip that whole part.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I'd say we're about halfway through the video, because I'm opening it up now too.
Cool. All right, let me pull that up.
Okay. I just switched to preferred thing.
We're basically up to 7.5 minutes in the video.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. I'll take a look now.
Okay. Okay. So seems like there's a little process going on here.
Yeah, what is happening?
I know it looks like it's adding the add C# add import code fix provider. This could be what was the issue with Visual Studio Code.
Interesting.
Just sucks that it has to happen on stream.
Oh, and also I just noticed something from the video as well. Yeah, this is still stuck, but when you get the chance, we can set the max value for the slider, which then allows us to control the amount of segments in the health bar.
Yes. Yes.
Which means if we do 100, we can have our health bar be out of 100. If you want it to be like, for example, in a Hollow Knight, you can only take 5 hits at the start. We can make it 5. So yeah, so make it, let's say,
so like 100, and then use whole numbers, and then
yeah, and then you can slide it from 100 all the way down to 0, or we can make it a smaller thing if we want it to be very like sectioned. If we wanted to say, okay, you can take 5 hits or 5 pieces of damage, but yeah, so
I think in our case, it being from like 0 to 100 makes the most sense.
I agree.
Because, this is supposed to be, the sanity is supposed to be affected over time and from other various factors. So it's a mixture of both, actually.
Cool.
What is happening with your
I don't know.
Studio?
I'm sorry, guys. It seems to be like some C# thing going on here. I don't know why it's going so slow though.
All right. If you want, you can use this time to look at the Brackeys video to see what's coming up next.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
And
if you want, is it in resources?
Yeah, it is in resources
right
channel.
All right. Wait, hold up. Can we actually watch YouTube videos on stream?
Oh, fair enough.
You could just put the subtitles on if you just want to see what he's doing. Oh, you mean like, are we like legally allowed to?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So you know what? So Chris, you and I, let's keep watching the video, and we'll just walk.
Walk me through it.
All right.
I still don't know what's going on here though. I'm very confused. Let me just middle of the stream just look up what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and if that's not working, go back to VS Code.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. Add import. Da 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 da. I'm just gonna have to close it. And then go back to Visual Studio Code. Because that's weird. Hope for the best.
So that's working?
Not exactly.
Like the IntelliSense.
Okay, there, yeah. The IntelliSense has finally worked.
I think you need to import Unity Engine UI.
Yeah.
Hold on. How could I have expected? Okay, let's just do it. Using Unity Engine.ui.
Exactly.
What? Yeah. I believe that fixed it. Okay, cool. Slider dot was it?
I think your parameter there should be an integer.
Okay.
Because we switched it to whole numbers.
Yeah, out of 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what you
And
guys are
I don't
saying
think
is,
we need an update here, right? In
No.
this file.
no. I mean, it's gonna run anyway. The update function. I can just comment it out for now.
I mean, sure, it doesn't matter. Just making sure. Yeah, so I see how he does it here, Chris. He has the player take care of its own health.
Right.
And
Which we
so,
wouldn't do. We would have something controlling that. Right.
yeah, so I'm saying we have to pick then, because this is still fine, but we can have the player control all of its own logic, or have the player only control like its movement, and the level manager does all the like high level work, like items, health, blah blah blah. It works the same way as how we did it in the video. It's just instead of the player setting its own health, a level manager would do it.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Um,
But just the sanity bar code is setting the slider values and the gradient. It's valuing the gradient.
Yep.
If you look further in the video.
Okay, got it.
wait,
And so,
did you
what
say
I'm curious.
gradient or
No. That's fine the way it is. That's fine the
okay,
way it
got
is.
it.
So now I wonder, once we get this up and working, we can try and do a like while loop here, and say like while value is not sanity, just -1 and we'll see if it'll like do a smooth decrease of health instead of it being like a chop.
You
get what
mean in the update we would have to do that?
No, I'm saying in a set health, right? It could be a while loop. Like, so let's say health is at 100 and they take the 40 damage, right? What you could do is while like slider dot value is not equal to I guess value minus like damage or minus amount of damage. So let's say it's a 60 now, you decrease by 1, and then that should, in my head, make it look like the health bar is like decreasing instead of it chopping to a 60.
Okay.
If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay, so
Alex, you're making a game manager. Is the intent here to make a singleton?
Yeah.
Okay. So that might need to be like
Its own thing?
the script might need to be attached to an object that you drag into the scene.
Yes, it will have to be. Yeah.
yeah.
And for those who don't know, what we mean by singleton is it's just this one. We want there to always be one game manager at any time, and say if we move from one scene to the next, we want to make sure that game manager does not get destroyed. So the singleton pattern pretty much is like a single entity. There's always only one object of a particular
Instance.
class, right? An instance, a single instance always.
Single instance of itself that exists, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
and that will allow us to control the different pieces of the game from any scene, which is also a level, at all times, so that we don't ever lose any data. So if the player exits level 1 with 60 health, we can make sure that in level 2 they start out with 60 health, unless we choose to refill their health. But
yeah, exactly.
That kind of
but choice. We can use it to keep track of like score if we want to add score. Like
that too. Yep.
The player gets a specific score depending on how quick they finish the level, and then it carries on until the end. That would be a good purpose for this.
Yep, exactly that.
It's been a while since I made a singleton.
Okay. From what I recall, you make a static game manager, and then you check if it exists, I think. And if it does exist, you destroy it. If it doesn't exist, you create it. If I'm right with that. I haven't touched it either.
I'm trying to find an old project and see if I can find out.
I guess I could do the same, right? Just look, I have done something before, if I can find it. Nope. There are no scripts in this one. Scripts, game manager. Let's.
I found a thread on Stack Exchange. They're discussing like 3 different ways to implement the
This
singleton
is how
pattern.
I did it. Get
Yeah.
and private set. That's what I did. And I don't remember.
Wait, where? I didn't see.
I'll show you. Well, I guess you'll see. As
Oh
I do.
yes.
Get
I remember this.
private set. And then was this on Awake?
There's a reset game start. I think it's start. Yeah, but I do understand you thinking about on awake.
Yeah. Here it is. If instance is equal to null,
is equal to null, then it's this. Otherwise,
Yeah.
there's no
That's
otherwise.
yeah.
And I did that on the start, right? Yeah, something like that. So this should create a game manager instance here. I think there's a reason why I might have done it on Awake, but it is what it is. So what's next? Right, here we
I
go.
assume we can start to put some basic variables that might be needed, right? So maybe a max health.
Work UI. Hold on. Let me think about this.
Yeah,
one.
no problem.
Wait, can we before we get back into the slider make sure that this game manager works?
Oh yeah, sure.
So you basically got to attach that to empty game object, right?
I wonder if I just bring it over if I could. Okay.
No, you have to attach it to an empty game object.
Me and my.
So just create it, yeah.
Game.
And it's called game manager. Yep.
It's crazy how much knowledge gets like saved in our heads from college when that was
so long ago.
A while ago.
Yeah. Can you believe that it's been years? It's crazy.
I wouldn't say years, but you're right.
It has been years, though.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, fine.
What was yes? So I've created the game manager.
So the way we test it would be what? Do we have to make a scene transition and make sure that it stays? Because how can you test it in the same scene, right?
Well, if you press play, there should be like a don't destroy and load thing that comes up.
Well, that's one, sure.
Was that event system created automatically, or?
Yeah, automatically when you created a canvas. So here's the don't destroy unload here.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I'm gonna assume that it'll work in another scene.
Yeah, and if not, we will
get back to it later. Yeah.
Yep.
So what was the? Sorry, I might have lost it while I was doing things. Are we having the player control his own health, or the game manager control the player's health?
I think we're going with the game manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If anything, we could break it up further.
So we're going to I guess
we're gonna need a few things. We'll need a reference to the player controller or whatever we called it, which is the player itself. A reference to that slider.
In the game manager, right?
Yep.
Here we have public. What's it called? Slider.
No. You have to import the Unity Engine UI again.
Yeah. I was hoping it would give me a little. I keep forgetting this is not Visual Studio.
Yeah. The perfect Intel sense that this does it all for you. I wish.
Public slider, sanity slide. Just gonna call it sanity bar.
Yeah, you can call that the sanity bar and put an underscore at the beginning if we want to keep our naming convention.
Oh well,
right?
The underscore is actually something used for private variables.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, cool. Yeah. No problem.
I'm cool with that. Yep.
And then here is public player. I feel like if we do this, it should work, right? Like it'll pull that component when we bring it in because we've done that for other things. When we say, "Give me the transform," it will just see. For example, if I did this, it brings over the script, and if I do this, it brings over the slider.
Yep.
Oh.
And so we can do that in there, or we could or we could have done it and start with the get components. I don't know which is better. I just know that both are options.
I just know that we would have to make sure the naming is correct. So
yeah, that would be a little more difficult if we did it as private variables. They're not all part of the same, I guess, object. Right.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's totally fine with me.
Yeah. What I've been doing is using private for things that like on say in the same game object where the script exists and there are other components. That's where I would use the private. And then, of course, when I'm referencing other things like outside, I would rather use this connection, just so that I don't know. It's more obvious that it's missing, right? When you actually go to the game manager and you don't see it there, you're like, okay, that has to be in there.
Got it. Okay.
Cool.
And then the other thing that we can add to the game manager is wait, what do we have there so far?
We just added the
player and sanity bar. Okay, let's add current health and max health, I guess. And then I assume we should also do something. We can pick either is dead or like is respawning, or I don't know what we want to call it, or is game over. I don't know, but we'll need a few of those to know, did the player, let's say for example, because in the height zone I assume you can fall into a pit, right? So say you fall into a pit, you should respawn at some sort of checkpoint. So we'll need to know if there's some respawning going on. Then we'll also need to know, is it a game over? If we're doing this in like a, I don't know if we're doing this in a game over kind of fashion, but if so, if it's game over, we need different actions, right? So just some bools and stuff like that to keep track of these states.
Maybe we could get to those a little later because we're specifically working on the sanity
bar. Sure, that's fine.
You sure you don't want to add it to the player? So what if so how do we deal with like say collisions and things like that? Is that all handled in the game manager, or is that handled in the player?
Sorry, what do you mean? Sorry.
Like say if he gets attacked by, or like I guess we don't know the full extent of how the interaction between the antagonist that we mentioned in the last stream and here, right?
Yeah.
But right now it's time. Time is what decreases the sanity. So is that something we do in the game manager or something we do in the player itself?
I'm not sure yet because I'm not thinking about it yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure at the moment.
So let me think.
Let's think.
What if we do it in the player? The game manager is, I guess, privy to what the player is going through, and then the game manager relays that back to the slider.
Oh, okay. I get what you mean. That is to say, for example, the player gets hit, and the player will send some sort of event to the game manager saying, "Hey, I've been hit."
Mm-hmm.
The game manager can take care of. Will then tell the sanity bar, "Hey, set your health to whatever it is now."
Right, exactly. So let's say we do this in a player. We go to definition. Here we're just gonna have I don't know, and I'm just gonna separate this from the other stuff a little bit. Private and sanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which by default is 100. Let's say.
What's that supposed to be? Max sanity? What is that?
Yeah, max sanity.
In that, like, so when we start the game, Chris, let's say max sanity is 100. They start out with 100, like sanity, right?
Yeah, so can we call it max sanity?
Okay, yeah.
And then we have current sanity too?
Yes, he's right.
Oh, sure. How's that?
Yep, that's fine.
Oh, can't do that, can we?
Why not?
Can't. I don't think we could set a variable with another variable there.
Oh yeah,
just do it in the start. Yeah. Can you call it current sanity?
Sure.
Yeah, it just makes more sense.
I agree.
All right. Now, let me think. Okay, so, do you guys know about time here?
I don't know anything about time.
Let's see, time dot.
Wait, what do you mean time? Sorry.
Basically, time as in how much time has elapsed since some time ago. You know what?
Okay.
I did do something with time. I just
So let's wait on time though, because that's going to be more complex. As in, like,
yeah.
Well, isn't that what we want to do with the sanity bar?
I know, but I think what we should do is just have just to test that this works. Have us have a take damage thing, like Brackeys does.
Exactly. Like we'll just have a take damage or something, and that will manually.
It just sets the current sanity to, minus equals whatever the damage is.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, sure.
Someone in chat said, "Too much technology for me."
That's my friend. Let's see. Oh, whoops. I guess that's a thing after, right? So you guys want me to add a function? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Public? Or private?
I don't know.
I don't think it matters. It can just be void. That's fine.
What is it? Reduced sanity?
Yeah.
And
then pass. Amount. Yeah, that works.
And basically current sanity minus
equals amount.
Yeah, perfect.
And then we need to
take
whatever the current health is and pass it to did we create that? We created that function in sanity bar, right? That sets the health.
Yep.
Sets the sanity. Yeah. So you just pass it to that method and it sets the slider value.
Right.
So then in Game Manager, I'm trying to think now.
Oh, right. So here,
because there needs to be a way for these. I forget how we do it, but there needs to be a way for these events to be conveyed between the different sources, right?
Yeah.
So that the Game Manager knows when the player is hurt.
Just hold on. Is this prototype 4? Yep, prototype 4. Script done. This should be player. I hate that it keeps doing that. Just gonna close that real quick. I'm gonna open with Visual Studio Code.
I see. In this old game that I made, what happens is the player also has a reference to the game manager, and so then in player, when you do like a on trigger enter, like I don't know, and take damage, it can say, hey level manager, update my health. Then
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
right,
Um,
because go ahead.
we could use something called event handlers. Um, so
Call the what?
here,
Sorry.
event handlers. So here
Oh, okay,
we
cool.
have something called public event handler. Okay, I guess it's part of system. We could do int, and what's it called? What should we call it? Uh,
I mean, I don't really get
sanity
what you're doing.
reduced.
Yeah. So first, before you write the code, can you explain the concept of what you're doing?
So when you put in a what event handlers are is as they sound. They're objects in or properties in which you register a function. When on this end, let's say you want to know when something has occurred in a particular object of class A, and
Sure.
B is the one that wants to know at what
Yep.
time does this happen. Well, if you add an event handler in a property in class A, then class B can register a function to that event handler, so that when
I
class
get it.
A triggers the event handler here, the B will know.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. That's exactly how like UI works in on a web design. When I write my code at work, it's exactly that. I just send a lot of events, and someone is like they they're listening for the event, right? That's what you mean?
Right, and
Yeah.
so when you do when when you do what do you call it the from so let's say player control is class A. This is how you would actually invoke the event handler. You would
Is there
say
supposed to be a
invoke.
question mark there?
The question mark, it pretty much means like,
Check if it's null, right?
right. So question mark. So for example, if you wanted to, um, I don't know, some object, right? You wanted to check if a property of an object is null, right? Property is equal to null
Yep.
or not equal to null. But let's say you also wanted to check if object was equal to null as well before you even check property.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to have another if statement, or inside the if statement put first is object equal to null or not, right? Before you move on to the next one. But putting the question mark there allows you to simply just say, okay, is object equal to null? Then this whole thing will return a null value.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah. So what this event handler is saying is, or, is anything registered to sanity reduced? Is there anything there? Uh, Sorry. Otherwise, if it's not null, then invoke this. Invoke pretty much just says sender and an argument. The argument in this case, since we said it's an integer, we can pretty much send, you know.
So this is setting sanity reduced to current sanity. Is that?
No. So what this is doing is saying so sanity reduced is not an object that gets set.
Oh, it's
What's
the event
happening?
handler. Okay.
It's the event handler. So it's saying, okay, first we reduce the current sanity. So let's say it went from 100 to a 50. So we're saying, okay, hey, sanity reduced, like kind of like throw an event or like broadcast an event that the current sanity is now at 50. Now I'm assuming the game manager will now be listening for this event. It'll say, okay,
Yes,
hey, I got an event from the sanity reduced saying that it's at 50. Let me set the slider now to 50.
Okay.
that's
Am I right,
exactly it.
Alex?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And
Okay, it works
here,
just like it does on the UI, which is helping me here.
right. So here we can even go further, and I'm kind of going on the fly here. Um, let's see. Excuse me. Let me think about this one. I'm not sure if start, like the order in which things happen exactly. How did I do it here? Okay, here I am actually looking for it. Um, so here what we can do is private player controller player, right? And then just return player. And in the set, we can say if um, value is not equal to null, or if not, if player is not equal to value, then we are going to
So
player is
I'm
equal
not
to
even
value.
sure what I kind of get what you're doing, but what
Yeah, I'm not sure
thinking
what's
two
happening.
players.
No problem.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm doing here is I need to know. In order for me to actually listen to this event, I have to actually attach it, an event handler to it, right?
Yep, makes
To a
sense.
player. However, in my other game manager, in my other project, the way I've done it is I've seeked out the player and its script, just like you said we could do, Quan, right?
Yeah.
Using get like find game object with name,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But since we are instead attaching it here, we actually don't know when, I don't think in the start we can, with um, certainty, know if we'll actually have player at start. Say if my function started before.
Okay.
Um, I mean, we could just do it there. The reason I do it here is so that you know what? I may be overcomplicating it.
I might agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I might if I fully understood.
Let's see. Let's see if this breaks or not, right? If player is not equal to no. Ooh, don't know what new int is. No. Okay. See player dot what's it called? Sanity reduce, right?
Yeah.
Now we can do two things. We can either give it a lambda expression or we can actually give it a function. But say we
I'm
have,
fine with a lambda.
yeah. Um,
And so that plus equals that's a syntax to listen to a event.
yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So here we're saying, okay, parameter s and parameter e. And we can name them as well.
Yeah.
We can
Let's
say
name it
player
yeah, player because that's where it's coming from, and
and
current
sanity.
sanity.
Yeah, current sanity.
Okay, and now in the lambda we can say
Uh,
here slider because we have an instance of the slider, right?
yeah. So here, if slider is not equal to null, I'm a null checker.
Yeah, no, good.
Slider dot set. Oh no, so then it's slider dot value. Oh, whoops.
No, we need to get to that method. Oh, sorry, sanity bar.
Sanity bar. It should have been this, and then sanity bar. Where did slider come from? Sanity bar dot set sanity is equal to current sanity. Does that make sense? You guys good?
A little bit.
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
makes sense.
I gotta see it in action for me to.
Yeah, I think I need to adjust this because this is wrong.
No, I think you're right. But yeah, we will find out. So
you have an error. You have an error in your somewhere in the game manager.
Oh, okay.
26.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, there we go. Semicolon.
yeah, because the lambda is a method, not just.
So we're not gonna be able to see anything because nothing is triggering.
Because nothing is triggering it. So
Exactly.
what we should do then is again just as a test on start or in player controller or something. We can after it's initialized, we can do something like I don't know, just manually set it in the code,
That's
and
weird.
we should be able to see it, right?
We could just like use one of the constants, like if pressing escape, then take damage.
Yo, fair, yeah, word. He's
Just
totally
to
right.
test
So
that works.
in a player controller, yeah.
Is sanity bar not on? Oh, we never added this. Okay, that's why it wasn't working. I was confused as to why the sanity bar was not being pulled in. Okay, and you said on press enter, right?
Sure, yeah.
Or
Okay,
whatever.
Or yeah, it doesn't matter what. Just anywhere where we're checking all that stuff, we can just check.
Let's just do like if
Is
is pressing
Player
escape
input.
or something.
so I'm gonna do enter.
Enter, whatever.
Sure, enter. Yeah.
We're just gonna
Also,
we're just
you
gonna
are
reduce
a
sanity.
true coder. You don't put brackets on single line ifs. I always do because I never trust them. I don't know why.
Honestly, working with the framework that I work with,
Mm-hmm.
it automatically, well, not automatically, but it's just the code can get like large, so like little things like these that reduce the size of it, kind of, I started using them.
I understand. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna find out if this works.
Yes, we will.
Because if we're going for the object-oriented approach, this makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
So here we have enter. Oh, it probably pressed it for a while. See,
Wait, how are you
But it's
pressing
working.
it? Are
enter.
you wait? Can you start it over?
Yeah.
Just press enter once. Just
Well, that's the thing. It update. Okay, I had to do it fast. I had to do it fast because if I press enter but like leave it a little long, it
Yeah, as in like it's so Chris. What's happening is on update is capturing the enter input once per frame. So if he keeps it held down for
I
4
see.
frames,
which
it'll
is like
then
less than a
subtract
sec, way less than a
4.
second.
And a frame is less than a second. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
Yes,
that's
exactly
why.
that.
That's why.
And so this will be fine once the game actually starts because when we conduct damage on the player, it will happen on 1 frame. Like it'll only happen at 1 instance. It won't
Correct.
continue. Whereas we're just testing it now.
All right, cool.
And so now,
Probably have to do a min sanity, or we can just say 0 is like always should always be it. So if minus 0 is less than 0, so current sanity is equal to current sanity is less than 0, then we're gonna say 0. Otherwise, current sanity.
yeah, got it.
Wait, what are you doing there?
He's doing a conditional expression to say if the current sanity is less than 0, so let's say they're at 1 health but they take 2 damage, then
Make it 0.
it 0. Yeah,
I see.
and otherwise you make it current sanity.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but we could pretty much do like event handling just like this. Like say if the player is at 0, then game manager will know, right? So in that same event, I'm looking at the wrong one. In that same event handler, we can add more code like, okay, reset game or something like that, or whatever we want, really.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now I want to test one more thing where you had the spacebar check for subtracting 1.
Yeah.
I just want to see if you change that 1 to like, I don't know, 40.
40? Sure.
Yeah, because what I want to test is that other way is the way of, or no, actually, forget it. It's fine. And I'll tell you why. I want to test if that while loop thing that I was talking about will work to like gradually decrease the health, but we should wait until we have an actual object that hurts the player instead of like pressing a button, because we're not going to press it for 1 frame,
Yeah.
So so just ignore that
what's
for
it
right now.
called? I mean, by the way, we could always as well do this as a separate model behavior.
We can.
Like the sanity logic, and then simply the like is it'll be something like, I don't know, what do you call it again?
Sanity.
Sanity control or something like that, or
Yeah.
it's just another component, and then game managers can simply listen to that. Or
We're probably gonna have to do that because we haven't even like put in the logic for what's actually controlling the sanity,
Right,
Yeah,
and I mean, player
exactly.
controller can pretty much just deal with handling the player.
Yep.
And it could even reference the sanity, its own self. It's the other script in here as well. Just so that say if we have a death animation or something like that, or losing animation that happens, then we can add it here like, oh, check sanity. have sanity do its own logic, basically.
Hmm.
But
Yep.
for now, I think here is fine. We can move it out at any time we want. So far, makes sense. We're good.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, we could do a timer type of deal, though. I have done a little something to track time. Let me.
So I was gonna say is first let's make like a cube in the so now that our reduction of health is working, let's make a cube in the world, right? And make it that like an on trigger enter on player. So when the player interacts with objects of this like layer mask or whatever, they take damage. Then we can test just that kind of stuff.
Well, technically, we don't have to do that right now because we've already tested that that method works for decreasing the sanity,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't know like what we don't even know if there's going to be like enemies that can reduce the sanity.
And
Just
it
Okay.
might it might not be through collision. It might just be through some sort
might
of
not be
event.
through collision.
Okay, fair enough. That's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so then I think that in terms of so then do we want to try the time thing now? Or do we want to try and move on to our next goal for the stream?
Wait,
I mean-
did we want to make like a gradient for the colors for the bar?
Oh, do you know how to?
It's in that same video.
Oh, well, let me know.
Oh, I didn't realize that the video
Guide
did
me,
that. I didn't get to watch
sorry.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Does it have to do with
Okay,
color?
sure.
Does it have to do with what?
Like the color here? It's like, is there some
Um,
sort of property or something like that?
You're basically a value. You're using a gradient object,
Oh,
and
I
then
see.
you're changing the fill color. So yeah, whatever you were just looking at. No, you don't make it in here. You do it
Oh.
in the code.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Do you mean like, uh,
no, it's just like a class.
oh, okay.
You just create a gradient in the code,
in the code here.
in the sanity bar. Yeah.
So like gradient.
Well, just create a
Like a private
variable.
object. Yeah,
I see.
a private a variable.
Gradient.
Actually, can you make it public because we're gonna want to adjust it in the inspector.
Okay. Gradient. Oh, hold on. What is this? This is sanity bar, right? Yeah. Sanity bar gradient. I don't know what we'll call that.
That's fine.
Okay.
And then you're gonna want you're gonna want an image in there of the fill. You know the fill UI image that we created.
I see.
So
So
you can make that private if you want, but
Are you
in the code.
in the code? I see.
You gotta reference it in the code because we're gonna be changing the fill color based off of
Image.
what the slider value is. Yeah, public image fill.
Yeah, fill image. Yeah. I'm gonna call it. I'm just gonna make it public.
That's fine.
Because there's no guarantee that it will be in here, and we have to. There's probably some way to ensure there's like that's a thing always. Yeah. Okay. So, oops. Hold on. Okay. What's next?
Okay, so then we have to go in the inspector and create the gradient,
Okay. So,
like visually. Do you see in the video what I'm talking about, Quan?
I'm looking for it, but I'm not seeing the gradient yet. Do you have a like a time thing, a timestamp, just a relative one? Because I'm at like 18 minutes, and I'm seeing the change of color, but not seeing the gradient.
You're at 18 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, it was way before that.
Okay, so maybe I missed it.
Let's see. Like 10:50. 52-ish, like around there.
Cool.
Okay, so basically, Alex, what we're gonna do is make it the mode fixed.
Fixed.
Yeah. And then I guess we could do 3 colors, like that green, yellow, and red. You know?
I understand
like,
what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we just need to create like 3 fixed rectangles with the 3 different colors. You could start the first one off as whatever color it's set to now.
Oh, see, I was saying a different thing, because what Brackeys does is he changes it to different colors, right? What I meant was like we pick one color. So, for example, let's say this green here, and it like gradiates toward black with the more damage you take. So it starts off as like a bright green, and the more your sanity goes down, it becomes darker, darker, and when you're like dead, it turns black. Or
I think we could do that
again, but I'm fine with both ones. I just wanted to be clear about what I meant.
Okay.
So what do you think?
We can see how that works, like starting with the green and like
Okay.
it would have to be a blend, I'm guessing.
Yeah, something like that.
Why is it white?
Because
the color isn't picked down below.
No, it's because I did something here. Oops. Let me get rid of this. Okay. That's what it originally was. This guy. Yeah, there you go. That's what this was originally.
Okay, and then
so let's see. Set it to the same green that's that you have set for the
yeah, just get the hex from the thing and
there. Hexadecimal.
Yeah, you could also use the eyedropper tool.
Okay. Hexadecimal.
Okay, and we gotta reverse it. We want the green on the right. Okay, and what do we want it to fade to?
let's try black. Let's start there.
Okay.
And so we could do that, but are you saying that the help bar would look that way?
Okay, well, let's test out this. Let's test out fading to black. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay.
Tell us what's next.
Okay, so the way Brackeys does it is, he did it with the fixed mode. So I don't know if this is gonna work with the blend mode.
Oh. Fixed.
So let's see. All right. So in the code, you would go to set sanity.
And again, I have open Visual Studio. It's like I want to be in there. Set sanity.
Yeah. So you're going to set the fill color to gradient.evaluate.
Sanity bar gradient.
Yeah. And then you're gonna get the normalized value from the slider.
Slider dot normalized value.
Yeah, that's what he does.
That's it.
He has a set max like health thing in there. I'm not sure what it's for, but there we go.
I see.
There we go.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's exactly what I meant. So Are you guys okay with that kind of thing, or we can have it be distinct colors? I think both are fine, but this is what I meant.
Well, what if this side's color is
You could
like,
set more. You could set more transition points. By the way.
Yeah, so that it can transition like earlier or later, right, Chris?
Yes.
so let's say here at 50,
Uh-huh.
we have I don't know, like a
It's a little weird.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah, it looks kind of weird. It looks kind of weird to me.
Fair enough.
Green and purple do go together as colors, but I think it looks weird as the health bar.
So what color would you guys like?
So I think we should either do Quan's suggestion where it starts off with green and it just like progressively gets darker, or we have like 3 fixed values where it's just like it goes
Thanks for
green
the
and then
follow,
yellow.
Spectre Alpha. Okay. Wait,
Yep,
can
but
you repeat that?
so he's saying we can make the gradient so that it was like it was before, where it just goes from green to black.
Yeah.
Or we can set more transition points, and it can go from, let's say, green to yellow to red.
Green to yellow.
My
to red.
vote personally is on it going to black, but we can try the other one because both are probably good.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'm only concerned about the black because the next thing we're gonna do is like create the scene that has darkness, right? So we're gonna add the light and it's gonna be dark.
Okay, fair.
I feel like we're not gonna be able to see the black. I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
then
What were the colors?
that's fine.
The green, what's the middle?
Yellow,
Yellow?
or like an orange, or a yellow or orange.
How's that?
Yeah, and then red. Yep, that's fine. Those are kind of like complementary colors in a color theory, so it should be good.
How's that? More red?
That's fine.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And so now this. So, but if we're gonna do this, then maybe we should make the green that more standard, like game green, if you get what I'm saying, or change the red because this is more of like a turquoise-ish or something, right?
Sure.
And also, I think we need probably more transition time for that, like yellowish, because when we were going down, it seemed like it only was there for like a very quick second, right?
Because it's
I could
pretty
be
much
wrong though.
50%.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was liking the fixed values. Like it still ends
How
up
about that?
looking okay. You might need to make the one in the middle like more defined because it just seems.
How's that?
Okay,
Let's try it out.
That might be okay.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
The only thing is that I think it should get to red a little bit earlier, like the
agree.
harsh red.
I agree.
But that's the last thing that. Or what you can do is move the red forward, I think. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I'll try that next.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Yellow is too soon.
Yellow's too soon.
Yeah, so put the yellow back in the middle or so, or like
put it
a
back
60.
to 50, and then
and then move the red forward. Yeah, exactly.
That's perfect right there.
20.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so your last
Color
like 20%
theory.
of health.
Oh,
But
right.
what we should do then is also change the base color of this green to match. Yeah, exactly that. So just pull the hex from the gradient if you can.
Yeah. There we go.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yep. And so that, yeah. Yep, and you get that yellow at halfway, and then you get, yep, I think that's
Perfect.
perfect. The one thing that I will say, though, is that the green, yellow, red, it doesn't come, to me personally, it doesn't convey as fearful, in that if the game is about fears, this is kind of like the bright part of it. So I don't know what exactly should be the solution necessarily, but
well, maybe
I get what, go ahead.
Maybe we could probably iterate on that.
Okay, fine. Yep. Let's leave it. I'm totally fine with that.
So, well, one of the things that we wanted to do in this stream is put it, since we're going to move towards the darkness level, we want to, a big part of it is having a light on the player that really only shows what's going on around the player, so they don't really know what's going on outside of that light. And a big part of it will be to control that light as well, so that based on the gameplay, which, you know, the gameplay itself we haven't fully fleshed out yet, but we're definitely going to play around a lot with flickering the light itself, or you know, anything that has to do with playing on the fears of darkness. So let's just do that a bit.
Do you want to commit this code just because we're doing two separate things?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
What do you mean?
As in, like, just do a commit now, and then we'll keep working, and at the end of the stream, we'll do a second commit.
Just so it's separate.
Okay.
Yeah, in case like we have any trouble with the lighting stuff and it's getting too late, and we just want to know we at least have the progress.
Yep, exactly that.
And some related functions. That's what I'm going to say in comments. Added sanity bar UI and classes.
Yeah, let's get this up on the repo. That would be perfect.
Sure.
And so, should we make a new? And while you're doing this, do you think that we should make a new scene for the level of darkness, or use the one that?
No, we can make a whole new scene. Well, for one, we definitely have to make these, turn these into prefabs. So let's create a prefab folder.
Oh, that's a good idea. We should
smart move, yeah.
do that. And if we want to maybe explain briefly what prefabs are, if anyone's watching.
Sure. So a prefab is a reusable object or a reusable asset that we can keep using over and over again. So a great example is platforms. Let's say you have platforms that are, in the scheme of your world, they're like 2x2, so pretty small. 4x4 is medium, and 8x8 is large. One way to make a game would be each level you'd have to continually remake these 2x2, 4x4, and 8x8 platforms. Or if you turn them into prefabs, they become a reusable asset. So now if you make 20 levels in your game, you can just go into your prefabs folder and say, okay, I just need an 8x8 platform, drag and drop, and it will keep all the functionality that you attached initially to that prefab. So things like collision, right? If your platform moves back and forth, it will retain that as well. So it lets you build levels much faster and take advantage of Unity's like power as much as you can.
Whoops.
That's perfect, Quan. Thanks.
No problem.
There you go.
I think that's all of them. I'm pretty sure Canvas. Should we include? Well, for now,
the Canvas. It doesn't need to be a prefab, I think, because the Canvas is so generic for the most part. I mean, but the sanity bar can be a prefab.
Well, if you just like throw the sanity bar in, is it gonna work?
No, yeah, you're right.
It should.
I'm trying to think. Should we make a? Oh wait, you mean like if we make a new canvas that isn't a prefab, and then drop the sanity bar? Yes, it should work.
What if I just call it Wake Up UI?
I guess the only thing we changed in the canvas was the render mode, and we changed it to screen space camera. So
well, we also set the render camera
and the camera. So
What if we delete this?
So I don't know if it should be a prefab, but let's call it the wake up HUD. I think that's better than just UI.
Okay. That makes sense.
Wake up HUD. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Name, wake up.
And for those who don't know, HUD is heads up display, just the display of your health, your items, your score, anything like that.
HUD. Okay. So then I'll make that a UI itself. Okay, so let's just create a whole new scene. We're just gonna call it darkness. Darkness. Some stuff is already in there. We're just gonna remove that. Oh,
Yeah. Okay. So we're in the darkness scene. Yep. And now.
Well, let's start with adding the platforming and the player.
Sure. Yeah. So we can use our prefabs.
Main camera.
Yeah.
There we are. Well, so make sure that this is attached properly. What else do we want in there? We don't really need game manager at the moment, or to wake up.
Well, we do want the HUD, because if we're fixing up the saturation and colors of the scene, we want to know that it works well with
good.
the HUD.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Sounds good. So here we have sanity bar, which is connected to Phil already.
And now the only thing you have to do with go to wake up HUD. Is it on screen space camera, or is it that it doesn't have a camera attached yet?
Oh, it probably doesn't have a camera attached yet. Yeah, see, no camera yet.
That was the game manager.
There we go.
Go to the.
All right.
So it's all there. So we want to, for one, on the camera, we want to get rid of the skybox, right? We simply just want to render nothing.
Yeah. So we can go up to main camera. Background type as color, right?
Well, we can do solid color and just make it black.
Yeah, let's make it black, or make it a dark gray, because sometimes black is harsh on the eyes. So maybe like a very dark gray or something might be good as well.
How's that?
Mm.
Oh.
It can be a very dark, or even black. I'm just.
How's that? Cool. More?
What do you think, Chris? I think that's fine. Yeah,
that's fine. Either way, the lighting is gonna change everything.
All right. So a big part of this is, since we're working with 2D sprites, we want to use some sort of 2D lights. So I hope I remember the whole process to do this. Right now,
also, quick shout out, thanks to Gatra.
Yeah, it's my friend Jackie. Thanks for tuning in. This isn't that Hollow Knight style game that we're working on. This is part of like a personal game jam that we're doing, where we come up with a random theme and then we build a game over the course of a couple of streams. We might put this on itch.io. I don't know if we talked about that yet, but it should be playable. It should be playable afterwards. So thank you for the support.
Yeah, thank you. So right now, the default, I guess, render asset, since we're using the universal render pipeline, the default asset is this one right here. It says universal RP high quality, and right now it's using something called the forward render. And I believe, if I'm correct, that pretty much handles all rendering of everything that we see in terms of 3D. What we want to do is make it into or use a 2D render instead. So that way light will actually affect the sprites, because at the moment they are unlit material, meaning they are unaffected by light. They are just what they are. So here I'm going to just create a new render. Rendering, universal render pipeline, 2D renderer. Just call it 2D renderer data.
Alex, did you explain why you have to do this because of the pipeline we're using?
Yeah, I believe I said the forward renderer handles most 3D stuff, but not 2D.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, just to reiterate, the forward renderer currently just handles 3D rendering. That is, say you have a cube on the screen and you have a directional light. The light will actually affect the cube so that there will be no, if there's no light hitting it from a certain angle, then it will be darker on that side. That is just not the case for these sprites. So we have to add 2D rendering manually here to make it so that sprites get that effect as well when we do lighting. So here we're just going to replace what's there, or yeah, we're just going to replace what's there. So here we replace that. At the moment, for example, the player, if you look at the sprites and all that, they're still using the material sprites default. So what we do here is we're going to go to render pipeline, universal render pipeline 2D renderer. We're going to upgrade the scene to 2D render.
Nice.
And you need to do this so that the lighting is compatible with this pipeline.
Right, exactly. So whenever you have, let's say there's the universal render pipeline, which most of Unity uses right now, or at least new stuff that's like default. Then there's the high definition render pipeline for more high def material. Say if you actually wanted to go from universal to high definition, you'd have to upgrade the material to use the high definition render pipeline. And when we upgraded all the objects in the scene, it included something called sprite lit default.
And that's a universal render pipeline material, I'm guessing.
Right. So yes. So as you can see here, now they are no longer showing as their sprites. They're actually dark. The platform is there, the sprite is there, but just black.
So if what you're saying is correct, if we add some type of light, it will now work. The only reason we can't see anything is because there's no light in the scene.
Exactly. So here we can add a point light, which is what I believe we need. We can set it to the position of the character.
Sweet.
And here now you're actually seeing it. Let's say
nice
point, right? We increase the outer radius to 5. Now you're seeing the effect there, like it fades out here, but you're able to see the character and a platform.
Okay. And by default, is that light gonna move with the camera and the player?
Let's test it out and see.
Not by default, but we can.
We should probably do something about that.
Okay, got it. Yep, so it stays in place. So we're gonna need to make a script or something that lets the light follow the player, so they aren't just without light.
Right. While we haven't made that script yet. We know that the camera has a script that follows player. So we could just use that for now. I think our plan is to change that camera controller to just be a general follow controller, in which we have certain objects follow the player.
All right, it's not going to work as is though for the light.
It should.
Okay.
Simply because what the camera, the sort of camera controller does is simply takes the transform of the player and applies the same transform x and y plus 1, I believe. So here we go.
Oh, all right. That actually, that makes sense.
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry. Can you say it again?
Oh yeah, no. Because the camera controller only just takes the transform of the player object and then applies the x value to its own transform and the y plus an offset, which is just 1. It works, right? Because
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not specific to certain objects. It's more like just on the transform, which every single game object has. Make sense?
Got it. Cool. Yep. Sounds good.
Messing around with this lighting can really make your game like very unique.
Yeah, way more dynamic. Just that light being there makes it look so much already just more scary, right? Like it's way more intense.
Yeah, I mean, we can even you can see what the effects are if you decrease the intensity. Stuff like that. And we're definitely going to play around with this.
Yes.
A lot.
I imagine if your sanity goes down, I would think that the light is dimming away too.
Yeah. We can show actual effects of the sanity going down either on the environment. I think that'd be a cool way to play with, a cool thing to play with. But yeah, that's Darkness. And since we're getting closer to the end of the stream, do you guys want to just talk about like what we want to do next?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we can go in a lot of different directions with this. So that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that building out this level will be the next interesting part. So coming up with good level design will be, I guess, a big thing, because making it compelling and fun within the darkness will like be a big factor in how we build this level, right?
Right.
Right.
I believe we did do some research on it already. So, there is some sort of tile map editor package that is on here that we would be able to create levels using tiles. Tiles such as, well, we actually have some art, right? Tiles that use assets and images like these, which would then create, the whole level. I don't know too much about the specifics. I looked at it a little bit, but we'll definitely do our research before then and then try it out in the stream itself.
For sure.
Probably, and we're definitely either before the stream, we're just going to fix up some things, organize the code a bit in terms of the sanity bar. Maybe at the start of the stream, the next stream, we can actually figure out how to do it, a timed sanity decrease.
Sure. Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Which is definitely going to play in the dark level, show some level design, and of course, actually play around with some gameplay mechanics of the darkness level itself.
All right. Do you guys want to write? You guys want to write this stuff down? The Google Doc.
Sure. Yeah.
So we have something to review.
I'll take care of that. Yep.
And then, of course, we're gonna figure out that little goal widget that you see on the stream if you're watching, so we can keep track of, so you the viewers can keep track of what's actually going on, like a little timeline of what's going on in the stream itself, and some background music. We're still trying to play around with that.
I feel like we could simulate the goals thing by using an overlay that you could just edit in Streamlabs, like real time.
Yeah, sure.
Do you get what I mean by that?
Yeah, we'd probably want to do a little bit of research on that, because I wouldn't know. I know there's a lot of widgets available, but I wouldn't know what. It'd probably be a label or something like that.
Yeah, some type of label that we could modify real time.
Okay.
So, Alex, you want to go into the Google Doc and we could write this stuff out together?
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna let me just disable the stream a little bit. I mean, not disable, but I'm just gonna turn off the display real quick because I gotta log into it. Cool.
Okay.
Drive.google. And then secrets.
Yeah, so if you're still watching, we're done with Unity and programming today. We're just planning out what we're going to do for the next stream.
Let's see. Done. Back to display. Okay, cool. That gradually changes color as the player takes damage. What is this? This is what.
Yeah, this is stuff that we did, and then we could add. I'm
just gonna put it next time. We could fix this up.
What we were discussing. So, do you guys want to try and actually build? You guys want to try and build out the darkness level using that tile map editor?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah,
yeah.
I think that'd be a good plan. We can bring in.
Or even
Go
Pro
ahead.
Builder. It depends on what we do.
I think the tile map editor might be an easier solution considering we're dealing with sprites.
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know, the tile map, what it lets us do is we can load in like effectively tiles of different like terrain, grass, stone, or whatever sprite we want, and then it allows us to kind of like with our mouse draw out platforms and such in non-normal shape. So instead of it just being a rectangle or something along those lines, we have more freedom, and it's much quicker to build out platforms.
Tile palettes, I think that's what it was called.
And of course, Brackeys has a tutorial on tile maps.
Of course.
Yeah, Brackeys is awesome.
And just flesh out darkness level mechanics. Should mess with light. That's what I got from our conversation. Is there something you want to add to that?
I think that is a good amount for next time. The time decrease of the sanity bar. We'll start to design that level and what the mechanics are. Maybe a stretch goal could be, if all of this goes fast, which it probably won't, but a stretch goal could be, we want to talk about this kind of like antagonist that will follow the player. Will kind of be adding to that fear. So maybe we can start to think about that as a stretch goal, so we can mark that in yellow. But yeah, I think we have plenty of content.
I feel like the antagonist doesn't like, I'm imagining that it doesn't like attack the player. It's just like makes its presence known and then like affects the way you play the level. Like,
I agree. Yeah. It's like, not it's not like a enemy that will come attack you. It'll more so be like either it follows you or it's just around, and like
you feel its presence.
You feel its presence, yeah, and you feel more afraid, more like eerie.
Right. And maybe, I'm thinking like in the height level, the entity, when it appears, that's when the platforms start disappearing.
Antagonists.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So as the player is jumping through this level for fear of heights, this antagonist appears, and that's when the platforms are like disappearing, and they only reappear in the nick of time.
And in the darkness level, it could be just literally removing your source of light.
Right, yeah.
Or just something like that.
Perhaps it could be just something in the dark, just out of sight. You know it's there, but you don't know.
Yes.
Sure, yeah. So we can brainstorm on this on the next stream. I'm sure, again, there are tons of ways to go about it. All are good, though.
But I guess, before the next stream, in terms of, we can play around with look into this stuff, but for the stretch goal, maybe every one of us can come up with our own ideas of how this antagonist could affect the world, and then we just pick the best ones. How about that?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Cool. So I think this is a good place to end it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, guys.
Just for just for the viewers, I'm not sure if we're gonna stream next Thursday because Alex, you're doing that game jam.
I'm not sure if it's still going on my end. I will let you guys know beforehand.
Okay.
Tentative.
Okay. So as of now, we're still on viewers for next Thursday at 6, but if not, we might do it earlier or a week after. So we'll keep you updated. We have a Twitter account now, BK Game Devs, and that's where you can follow for updates.
Sounds good. Yep.
Yeah.
So we will keep you
Spectre
posted.
Alpha, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yep.
They said that they said thanks for streaming, and this is really intriguing stuff.
Yeah, and feel free to ask us questions on our
much
Twitter. Are we taking questions on Twitter?
What'd you say?
Or is there a place for like questions? Should we take questions somewhere? Or suggestions or?
I mean, that's not a bad idea. The DMs are open.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Check out our Twitter and let us know comment.
And
what would
we'll
you
try
like to
our
see as
best
well?
to answer, Twitter DMs, and also we'll try our best to answer questions that are in the stream chat live. Sometimes we don't see the comments at first because we're deep into our coding here, but we'll make an effort to do that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks. So BK Devs signing off, right?
Yep. Signing off. Peace out.
Signing off.